Welcome to NFL News Latest with your hosts Kyle Grassel and partners David Orlinsky and Rory B. David, what is your latest take on the Los Angeles Rams?
Well, the LA Rams are pretty exciting, Kyle. Well, LA's waited nearly 20 years for a new NFL team to return after going 20 years without one. Jared Goff is probably the biggest news, a California native himself. He has a lot to live up to, along with second-year running back Todd Gurley. Let's see if they can carry the team in the City of Angels. Now Rory B has some breaking news.
I'm Roy Bialostowski. Breaking news out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this morning. Steelers star wideout Antonio Brown in some hot water for allegedly abusing the Detroit Lions defenders during their joint practices in Pennsylvania this week. Brown was nearly ejected from a preseason scrimmage. That's right, a preseason scrimmage for being verbally abusive towards a game official. And that has been reported to the NFL, and he may face a fine or further discipline. And the official Terry Brown stated after the fact that he would have been tossed if it was a regular season game.
Rory, how do you think Antonio Brown's season is going to end up?
I think this will fire him up. I mean, obviously, it's only preseason, so probably won't be suspended. That will not happen. So I think this will really just make him angrier if he gets fined, because nobody likes to lose money, even if you're making many millions.
I don't know, Kyle. We'll see. I think he might get fined more than we think because,
Well, let's see how his relationship with Ben Roethlisberger is going to be this year because they're favorites in their division.
It's a critical one. As for NFL news,
This is Kyle Grassel, your host.
David Orlinsky.
And I'm Roy Bialostowski.
Thank you for listening and good night.
3.
Welcome to NFL End Zone. I'm Josh Mechanic alongside my partners Brett Barish and Andrew Sefton, and today we'll be talking about the NFL. With training camps in session and preseason games starting off this weekend, Andrew, what team are you looking for this year?
Well, I like the Arizona Cardinals because their defense is going to be really strong. Last year they lost Tyrann Mathieu, who was a great defensive back, and I think when he comes back this year, their secondary will be very good. They also have Carson Palmer, David Johnson, and many vertical threats.
Brett, what about you?
I'm going to talk about the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, Andrew Luck coming back from his injury, and Indianapolis looking for a good running back and some good wide receivers such as T.Y. Hilton and Dante Moncrief. But the downside of the Colts is that they have to fix their run defense.
Well, I like the Bears. The Bears have Jay Cutler is the quarterback who's struggled a lot during his career, but I think he can have a great season throwing to Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Miller after the losses of Matt Forte and Martellus Bennett. Their new running back, Jeremy Langford, who could be a breakout sophomore, coming off of his rookie season where he played only his second half and showed us that he could be a stud. Their defense, they got Leonard Floyd in the draft out of Georgia, and they got Danny Trevathan in a trade from Denver. So I think the Bears are a good team to look out for. Heard you guys' Super Bowl predictions.
I think this year, like I said, Arizona Cardinals earlier. I think they have a great defense, great offense, good running game, good passing game, good secondary, good pass rush, and I think they're going to be really far this year, and I hope they win.
I am also going to take the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, look at their defense. They just acquired Chandler Jones from the Patriots, and Tyrann Mathieu's coming back from his injury. And then the offense on the other side is just so unstoppable. Carson Palmer, John Brown, Michael Floyd, David Johnson.
My pick is the underrated Kansas City Chiefs. They have a great quarterback in Alex Smith and a good wide receiver in Dwayne Bowe. And if Jamal Charles is healthy this year, he's one of the best running backs in the NFL. Also on the defensive side, they have one of the best safeties in football in Eric Berry. So that's all for us. I'm Josh Mechanic, Brett Barish, Andrew Sefton. Good night.
3.
Hello, I'm Bo Garvey here with Jake Austin and Jack Weinman. Here we're going to talk about an NFL upcoming season. Jake, what do you have to say?
Well, Antonio Brown was just ejected from a training camp practice after demanding a flag was thrown on an incomplete pass. And although an ejection doesn't mean much in training camp, it doesn't mean much. It just might motivate Antonio Brown to do better in the regular season and score more touchdowns.
What do you think?
Well, the Cowboys plan to start training week by paying a tribute to Dallas to the Dallas police who were killed by wearing a decal saying arm in arm on their helmets was shut down by the NFL. The NFL stated that they needed rules and guidelines so that every time a player lost a family member, they couldn't put a sticker on their helmet because every single team needed to go by the uniform rules.
Let's talk about San Diego. Watt's little brother more than a last name in San Diego. Seeking a potential jump start to their run game, San Diego decided to pick J.J. Watt's little brother, Derek, in the 6th round of the draft. San Diego fans are excited about the boost to the team. Let's talk about Super Bowl predictions. Jake?
I think Cowboys all the way. They're going to have a good comeback this season with Ezekiel Elliott. He's a great young running back, and even though he might be injured for the first couple weeks of the season, he's going to propel the Cowboys back from a 4-12 season last year to maybe even a Super Bowl win, their first since 1995.
What do you think?
You know what? Even though they lost Josh Norman and a little bit on defense, I would have to go with the Carolina Panthers. Super Cam has been outstanding. It's been predicted that they'll come back even stronger. They do not want to lose again, as we can see by the Kansas City Royals. They lost one year, but they came back even stronger. A loss only ignites the fire in the team's heart even more.
Personally, I think that the Arizona Cardinals, after their last season coming out one of the top teams, I think if they keep the same thing up, they could win it this year. That's all for us today. I'm Bill Garvey here with Jake Austin and Jack Weinman. This has been the NFL 2016-2017 preview.
3. Hello and welcome to the Daily Sports Wrap Show. I'm Borna Nazari alongside Adam Glick and Nick Pereira. So today we're going to go to the pigskin and talk about the AFC West and the breakdown of that great division. We got the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Oakland Raiders, who were surprising. But let's start it off with those San Diego Chargers. Adam, what are your thoughts and where do you see them going into this season?
I actually like the team. They're going to be better than last year. Can't really be worse than last year. And I love Phillip Rivers, great quarterback. I think he's the best quarterback in the AFC West. And their linemen, they're going to be back this year because pretty much their whole linemen were in the hospital last year in the Baltimore hospital.
Always injured, yeah.
And the Baltimore hospital is not even nice. So hopefully they'll be back and protect Phillip Rivers in the pocket. And I think they'll be better, 6-7 wins.
The Chargers are already starting off with controversy as Joey Bosa is holding out of training camp. He has so many contract disputes as he wants his guaranteed money paid up in one payment, but that's not going to happen with the Chargers, and Joey Bosa is going to have to be the first person who gives in to the Chargers' demands. So, Nick, let's talk about the Broncos. Obviously losing Peyton Manning. What are your thoughts? Where do you see them heading into the season?
Well, I still have faith in their defense. Von Miller is one of the best defensive players in the NFL. But, Mark Sanchez, boy, do you have some big holes to fill. Peyton Manning, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I see their offense being a problem next season.
Yeah, the Broncos, they still have one of the better receivers, Demaryius Thomas, to complement him. Emmanuel Sanders have one of the better offensive lines, Emmanuel Ramirez, Luis Vasquez. I like the Broncos. They got Paxton Lynch in the first round, but we'll see where they go this year. The Kansas City Chiefs with Andy Reid, one of the better game managers and Alex Smith in football. Do you like the Chiefs this year, having another 10-6, 11-5 year?
I do like the Chiefs. Alex Smith, he's not a flashy quarterback, but he gets it done, and they're always going to hover around the 9-7, 10, and 10-6 mark, and hopefully that will be enough to get over the hump. And it's really hard to win at Arrowhead with their rainy, soggy stadium.
That's their best player. Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those Oakland Raiders. Obviously, Jack Del Rio, the former Jaguars head coach, holding the realm in Oakland. Derek Carr, first-time Pro Bowler last year. Rookie Amari Cooper was a Pro Bowler. Khalil Mack, nothing to say, one of the better defenders in football. I like the Raiders going 9-7, 10-6 this year. You cannot go wrong with Oakland. They're a young team on the rise. But guys, let's talk about Super Bowl 51, the big dance. Who do you like in that game?
In that game, I think the Panthers will go and the Steelers will go. The Panthers, Cam Newton was the MVP in the NFL last season. And the defense the offense for the Steelers. Antonio Brown, one of the best wide receivers in the game, and Ben Roethlisberger, who is a premier quarterback. I feel like that would be a great matchup.
Prolific offense, like I said, with Le'Veon Bell coming back. My Super Bowl pick is actually going to be the New York Giants versus the New England Patriots. I think the Giants are going to have one of those years where they always sneak into the wild card and make a huge run in the playoffs. I think Eli Manning's going to have one of those sparkle in his eyes years. Odell Beckham Jr. emerging as one of the better players in all of football. They went crazy in free agency this year, signing Olivier Vernon and Janoris Jenkins to plus $60 million contracts. I like the New York Giants. Against the Patriots, you can never bet against Tom Brady. Obviously serving a 4-game suspension, but Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski, and crew always find a way to get into playoffs and make noise. What are your thoughts on your Super Bowl prediction.
I have to agree with you a little bit, Borna. I love the Patriots. They're always there. Bill Belichick, great coach. He always seems to get his team to the promised land. And Brady come back from the suspension. I think he's going to be better than he ever has before once he comes back from the suspension. And I love Julian Edelman. And then in the NFC, I like the Panthers. They were there last year. They know how it goes. And Cam Newton, a great quarterback, and then Luke Kuechly at the linebacker position.
And that's going to wrap it up for Daily Sports Talk. Alongside Nick Pereira, Adam Glick, I'm Borna Nazari.
3.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to ESPN. I am Thomas Maloney. This is Jake Fitzgerald. This is Noah Holliber. And we've got a little bit of training camp news. Let's start with Jake.
I went to my hometown San Diego Chargers training camp, and unfortunately, Stevie Johnson is out for the season with a torn meniscus, and Tyrell Williams has been surprising at training camp, making incredible grabs, and hearing about Melvin Gordon's progress from Adrian Peterson as he worked out with him this year, and also LaDainian Tomlinson. So it's been good to hear from the hometown Chargers.
Noah, now let's hear from you.
Well, I visited the Panthers training camp, and Cam Newton is hungry for another Super Bowl appearance. He looked really great in training camp. The defense picking it up without Josh Norman. As we all know, he went to the Redskins. Looks like they're ready to make another Super Bowl appearance.
I personally visited the Los Angeles Rams, training camp. Obviously, the big storyline coming out of there is the competition between Jared Goff and
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum. Originally, they have named Case Keenum the starter for the beginning of the season. Goff has looked very good. He's looked like an NFL-ready quarterback, in my opinion, and I think that Case Keenum is there as a starter for the first few weeks of the season to let Goff get some reps with the first team and in an NFL system before they throw him into the heat of the NFL. Also, on another note, Todd Gurley is looking very strong. He's not looking too injury-prone despite his ACL injury at Georgia.
Now that we've talked about the training camps, I want to know your guys' Super Bowl picks for this season. Jake?
I love the Arizona Cardinals. It's a surprising pick, but I love the Chandler Jones trade as they sent Jonathan Cooper and a second-round pick to the New England Patriots. Tyrann Mathieu is healthy after he signed that contract extension. Pat Pete's looking good. Larry Fitzgerald, Carson Palmer still got that great chemistry. And let's hope that David Johnson builds from his rookie season as a great running back.
All right, Noah, let's hear from you.
Well, I have the New England Patriots winning the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, after his 4-game suspension, he's going to be hungry to get back and show the league what he can do. Let's not forget that they have Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady, who are indisputably the top 3 in their position. They're in the top 3 in their positions. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski have proven that they are one of the top quarterback tight end duos in the NFL. Proven that they've won with Tom Brady 4 Super Bowls under his belt, looking for the 5th. I think they're going to win it this year.
And personally, my pick for this year's Super Bowl is the Carolina Panthers. I love what Cam Newton is doing. He's such an incredible dual-threat quarterback. Honestly, like nobody we've ever seen in NFL history. The way that he can truck over defenders, even as a quarterback. I also like watching Devin Funchess. He's a decent receiver, and I think Tom Brady makes him really, really good. Jonathan Stewart's a perfectly decent running back, and that defense is really, really good. Even despite the loss of cornerback Josh Norman, they still have Thomas Davis, they still have Shaq Thompson, they still have Luke Kuechly. That linebacking core is incredible. So with that, we've given our Super Bowl picks, and I think it's time to sign off. For Jake Fitzgerald and Noah Holliber, I am Thomas Maloney. Thank you for tuning in.
3.
You start.
Okay. Welcome to SBCLA. I'm Keenan Albin.
I'm Ben Pfeiffer.
And today we're going to be talking about the Indianapolis Colts. In recent news at training camp, the top 3 defensive linemen are all out now and could be out come week 1. Where's the team going to go from here?
I don't know. It's going to be rough. Henry Anderson, he had a great start to his rookie season last year, but fell off after that injury. Art Jones is a solid veteran that we can really use.
Suspended for 4 games.
Yeah, suspended for 4 games.
And Kendall Langford went down, so now that leaves us with
a hole in the D-line position.
David Perry and undrafted rookies.
That's rough, man.
We'll see what the team can do.
The Colts line has been one of their biggest weaknesses since Angel Luck got there, and it needs to get better if they want to win the AFC South and even make the playoffs this season.
The Colts drafted many linemen in this year's draft, adding LaRaven Clark,
Ryan
Austin
Kelly.
Blythe, Ryan Kelly in the first round, Joe Haig. And I think that getting these new line pieces is going to help the team a lot. But I don't see the line being great this year. The D-line's injured. It's going to be tough to win the AFC South. I see it coming down all the way to the last week. the Colts or the Texans will win the AFC South, going with a record of 10-6 or 9-7. What do you think?
I completely agree. I think the Jaguars aren't there yet, but maybe in a couple of years they could compete for the crown.
The Jaguars are up and coming, but I don't see them winning more than 8 games this year.
So who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl, Keith?
Oh, who do I think is going to win the Super Bowl? I think it's going to come down to the Steelers and the Patriots in the AFC for the number 1 seed. The Steelers and the Patriots are both without one of their best players for the first 4 weeks. The Patriots, obviously, Tom Brady, and the Steelers without Le'Veon Bell. But I think both of them will get through it with a 3-1 record, 2-2 at the worst. They'll bounce back.
Pretty ambitious.
There's a mid-season matchup between the two teams, Steelers and Patriots, at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. I see the Steelers winning that game.
I agree. That'll be a good one.
And that will give them the number 1 seed in the playoffs, and having the Patriots at home in the AFC Championship, the Steelers will win and go on and will win the Super Bowl.
All right, so I'm going a bit outlandish here. I'm going to go with the Oakland Raiders. And before you call me crazy, yeah, I know. Before you call me crazy, hear me out. Derek Carr is a great young quarterback. Amari Cooper is emerging as one of the best receivers in the league. Latavius Murray had a solid year. They had a very good draft, adding good defensive pieces such as Carl Joseph and Jihad Ward. Of course, Khalil Mack is a monster, first ever player to make an all-pro team at 2 different positions. They added Bruce Irvin, the star linebacker for the Seahawks, and Reggie Nelson, and Sean Smith is in picks.
Leader in interceptions.
And Sean Smith, very solid corner. Their defense could be one of the best defenses in the league this year. Along with their good offense, I think that could propel them in a weaker AFC this year to the Super Bowl. And hey, maybe they could get a break and win it.
I could see the Raiders winning maybe 10 games, but I don't see them winning the Super Bowl.
We'll see what happens.
But those are our Colts news and Super Bowl predictions.
All right, thank you. I'm Ben Pfeiffer.
And I'm Keenan Alvin.
This is NFL Network. I'm Wyatt Nye here, along with my co-anchors Jordan Hirsch and Dylan Johnson. In recent NFL injury news, we have Dante Fowler Jr., a first-round pick for the Jaguars last year, who, amidst his rookie season during practice, tore his ACL, but now making a very valiant comeback into this year. We also have rookie cornerback Jalen Ramsey, drafted in the first round as of 2016 with the Jaguars, who has been injured during practice and is looking to make a run for the preseason and in week 1 for the NFL season. And our last injury is with Reggie Ragland, a second-round draft pick to the Buffalo Bills and a linebacker who recently tore his ACL in practice and is looking to miss his rookie season debut. Now, to talk about a preview for the Super Bowl 51, what do you guys think are the 2 teams that would match up well or respectively win their divisions to play in the big game? Jordan?
Well, for divisions, I can name all. I think that the Steelers will win their division because the Browns have no chance on that one. And I think that the Texans will upset everyone by winning. I think for the NFC, the Cardinals will clinch their division. I think
Dylan, let's just go straight to you. What do you think for the big matchup?
The big matchup, Super Bowl 51, I have to say it's going to be Steelers and Cardinals. Steelers have such a great offense. I don't think any other team in the league has a better offense than the Steelers. Their defense is okay. Their secondary isn't as good as they'd like it to be. And the Cardinals definitely also have another great high-powered offense. Their defense is even more high-powered than their offense. And it's just really looking up to see the Cardinals and the Steelers in a Super Bowl 51 matchup again.
All right, thank you, and that is all for the NFL Network.
first talk. We'll see.
Hello and welcome to NFL News and Previews. I'm Eli Lesser alongside Ryan Miller and Lucas Dotson, and today we have some NFL news and predictions for the Super Bowl. The New England Patriots have announced that they are going to sit out Tom Brady in the New England Patriots preseason opener. This is a very interesting move, but he will not be playing in the first 4 regular season games of the season, so it does make sense.
Now on to the AFC South. Rashad Johnson, who's the newest member of the Tennessee Titans, the safety from the Arizona Cardinals, this morning in an interview said he thinks the Titans could win the AFC South. Now, I found that very interesting, with Marcus Mariota becoming more of a taking right in like a pro style or a smash mouth type of quarterback instead of a shotgun and run it. And DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry now. I mean, I like it, and I like Rashad Johnson's confidence in saying that.
Now on to the NFC West. Jimmy Graham was recently activated off the physically unable to play list, or the PUP list, after a season-ending injury to his patellar tendon in 2015 that cut the season short. And with Jimmy Graham being back for the Seahawks, in all honesty, it shouldn't mean much, as all he does in that offense is block.
On to our Super Bowl predictions. I have to go with the New England Patriots. I know Tom Brady's not going to be in the first 4 games, but they don't need the first 4 games. As long as they make the playoffs, I think this team has a very legitimate shot at making the Super Bowl. They have Tom Brady when he's back. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't a bad QB. People need to understand. He is a quality QB. They have a great receiving core. They just added Bennett from Chicago. They also obviously have the Gronk himself, and Julian Edelman's injured right now, but he should be back soon. So I definitely think the Patriots have the team to beat. Do you agree, Ryan?
You know, I really like that pick. I have them in the Super Bowl with just an amazing team, and I like Jimmy Garoppolo. Ever since the draft, I thought he was going to be an absolutely fantastic quarterback, and hopefully he develops and becomes a starter soon. But although the Patriots I have making the Super Bowl, I think the Arizona Cardinals from the NFC West are the ones that will win it. David Johnson, one of the top players this year, just an unbelievable talent. Carson Palmer seems to be doing better than ever. And I like John Brown, the little flex. He's short, but he's fast, and I love watching him play. And let's not forget about the Honey Badger on defense. I just love watching the Cardinals play. I think they're going to do great things this year.
Yeah, with the Cardinals, they obviously stout one of the best defenses in the NFL, and the big problem last year was their offense for a lot of the season. But this year, I think that they also have maybe the best offense in the NFL. They have a great receiving corps: Michael Floyd, Larry Fitzgerald, John Brown. Running back, they have David Johnson. They also have Calvin Johnson. They have CJ 2K.
Oh, yeah. I really like that team.
Yeah, he can run.
Well, anyways, to wrap it up, this has been NFL News and Preview Show. I'm Eli Lesser, signing off for Ryan Miller and Lucas Dotson.
Hi, welcome back to Sportsnet Nation. I'm your host, Peter Sneves, along with Shane Wilk and Andrew Wilson. We'll be talking about NFL news. Let's start with, of course, we have to mention this. Tom Brady suspended 4 games. Jimmy Garoppolo will start in his place. Also, Le'Veon Bell got suspended 4 games for missing on a drug test. He will also be suspended for 4 games, but his appeal is coming up within the next week.
What I want to talk about right now is the Joey Bosa situation. Bosa is still holding out on his contract. Neither side will budge, neither him nor the Chargers. And his mom has actually said that she wants him to pull an Eli Manning and leave the Chargers before he ever plays a game for them. Bosa actually wants all of his money up front so he can do whatever he wants with it, because we all know 22-year-olds are really smart with their money. Chargers won't give him that, so the two sides can't agree on a contract for him to play this upcoming season.
And over to Buffalo, where we have the Buffalo Bills, who I think will have a shot at not winning the division because, of course, the Patriots have Brady, Belichick, and Gronkowski, but would have a shot at the wild card with now Tyrod Taylor beating out E.J. Manuel for the starting job. E.J. Manuel was drafted by the Florida State as a really high overall pick for what many thought should have been in the later rounds. And Tyrod Taylor, with all of his speed, will have some weapons such as Robert Woods and Sammy Watkins on the receivers, and with recently acquired LaShawn McCoy at running back.
All right, now let's go to our Super Bowl predictions. I personally think in the NFC, it will be Carolina Panthers making it back to the Super Bowl. Now with the AFC, I'm struggling with this a little bit, but I have to go with the Steelers here because they have the best one of the top 3 players in each position, 3 major positions, with Le'Veon Bell at running back, Antonio Brown at wide receiver, and Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback. What do you think, Andrew?
Personally, I disagree with both your Super Bowl picks. I believe the Super Bowl 51 is going to be between the Cardinals out of the AFC. I think Larry Fitzgerald still has a lot left in the tank. I think Carson Palmer, when he's playing well, I think he's arguably the best quarterback in this league. And I think that with the acquisition of Chandler Jones and the improvement of that defense, I think they can challenge the Carolina Panthers, and I think they will beat the Carolina Panthers and earn a spot in the Super Bowl 51. Out of the AFC, I'm picking the New England Patriots, mainly because the thought of a pissed-off Tom Brady coming back after 4 games with Bill Belichick, Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, and Martellus Bennett running that offense, I think that should scare the rest of the league, and I think that the Patriots will steamroll through the final 12 games of their schedule and easily make it to the Super Bowl.
What do you have to say?
I would definitely consider the Steelers. The Patriots have always been at the top of my list. With Brady, he's such an experienced quarterback. The Brady and Belichick combo is almost unstoppable nowadays. With Gronkowski at the top of his game, even with injuries setting him back almost every year, he's still been one of probably the clutchest players to come to throw to in the NFL. And out of the NFC, I considered the Packers just because with a lot of ups and downs lately, I think that Aaron Rodgers can string together a couple of big wins in the playoffs. The Vikings with Teddy Bridgewater definitely doing a lot better in the past couple years. But I would still have to go with your pick as the Cardinals just because of also their depth in the running back position with David Johnson and Chris Johnson. Larry Fitzgerald, even though he is older, him and Carson Palmer have a great connection.
All right, thank you for listening. This was Sportsnet Nation.
Hello, I'm Van Noland, along with my partners, Owen Noland
and Jack Chastain.
And this is our NFL preview show. I'm going to start off with the Browns have named their starting quarterback for this upcoming season. That will be RG3, Robert Griffin III. After spending the rest of his career in Washington, he now heads to Cleveland and will be their starting quarterback as he looks to get his career back on track. In other news, Reggie Ragland, rookie linebacker from Alabama, who's now playing for the Buffalo Bills, tore his ACL and is likely out for the season. Bad news for the Buffalo Bills.
And finally, Jared Goff of the Los Angeles Rams is seen partying in Hollywood Boulevard. This is very demising for the Rams right now because they are looking for him to develop into this mature young quarterback.
Now we are going to go on to Super Bowl predictions. Jack, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I mean, this is a tougher one because so many players have moved around. So I have to go with the Cardinals because they have all their players seem to have played with each other and have this great chemistry. Like, they have Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald. And then on the defensive side, they have Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu.
All right, I think coming out of the NFC, I have to go with the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is a top 3 quarterback. I think he's the best quarterback in the NFC. I think their defense is good enough to get them there. I don't think it's one of the best in the NFC, but it's good enough to do the job. I'm going to have to agree with you, Jack, on this one. I think the Cardinals' defense is just too good with the acquisition of Chandler Jones in the offseason. That gives them a prolific pass rusher to lead their defense. I think that defense will help them win, and that's what helped them beat the Packers last year. And I think their offense with Larry Fitzgerald and Carson Palmer is good enough to get them into the NFC. What are your AFC projections?
I know that I said the Cardinals winning it all, but I still feel like they have a lot of challengers coming through. Like, they have the Chiefs, Texans. I know those are, like, not the best teams, but, I mean, they could still somewhat provide a challenge for them.
Yes, I talked about defense with the Cardinals. I think the Texans are another team that has a tremendous defense, as well as the Kansas City Chiefs. They have great defensive backs. I'm going to have to highlight the Texans' defensive line for now. I think their defensive line will get them very far in the AFC. Okay, I have a team that you guys haven't mentioned yet, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kind of a shock, even though Le'Veon Bell is out for the first 4 games and Martavis Bryant the entire season. But I think with Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger, as long as they stay healthy and stay on the field, I think they're one of the best offenses in football.
That is a good choice. I can't argue with that. And also from the NFC, you have, what I'm thinking right now, it's most likely, I feel like the Carolina Panthers can keep it going for another year.
I think they're a good challenger for the Cardinals. Thank you guys for listening to our NFL preview show. For Owen and Jack, I'm Van Nolan. Good night.
3.
Hello, my name is Chris Pollock alongside Noah Wheeler and Ben Davidoff, and we have an NFL preview for you today.
So, first we're going to talk about a little NFL news. Now, I know this isn't breaking news, but I feel it is newsworthy. In an act of charity, the Tennessee Titans have auctioned off the first 2 play calls in their preseason opener this Saturday. Basically, this person bought the first 2 play calls for $10,000 each, telling Marcus Mariota and company what to do during those first 2 plays, and that money will be donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
In other news in the NFL, we have some big breaking news about the Hall of Fame game. The teams have actually been changed after the field conditions of the Colts-Packers game. It is now going to be the Raiders and the Steelers in the Hall of Fame game.
And Tim Tebow to professional baseball? Yes, it looks like the former star at the University of Florida in baseball might actually be pursuing a career in professional baseball. Now let's move on to Super Bowl predictions. Noah, who do you have going for you?
You know, for me, Chris, this is a real hard one. I mean, the NFC is just a great group of teams. But for me, I'm actually going to go with my Dark Knight. I say that the Bears go very far this year, and they will make it at least to, if not the NFC Championship and even the Super Bowl, at least the playoffs, in my opinion.
Really interesting. They did lose Matt Forte, though, and they didn't really come back with another running back, but I do think they are a dark horse candidate. For my prediction, I think that the Arizona Cardinals they're probably the best team in the NFC. They're gonna come out of the NFC. Without too much of a challenge. The Carolina Panthers could give them a rough time in a game they would play with them, but I do think with David Johnson as their running back, they now finally have stability at that position, and they do still have that passing attack with Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald and all their receivers, and they re-signed Tyrann Mathieu as well as bring in Chandler Jones to really bolster up their defense. So I think they're going to be a team to watch this year.
You know, I have to agree with Ben on this one. The Arizona Cardinals are just a fantastic team. You look at Carson Palmer at the quarterback, you look at David Johnson at the running back, you look at those wide receivers with John Brown, Larry Fitzgerald, and Michael Floyd. You really got a great core there. And on defense, with the new addition of Chandler Jones, with Tyrann Mathieu, you really do have a really solid there. For my AFC pick, though, and my Super Bowl pick, I have to take the New England Patriots, led by quarterback Tom Brady, who's, after coming off a 4-game suspension, you know he's going to be hungry to go out and prove that he can do anything. And the Patriots now have Dion Lewis back for the full season. They have Julian Edelman. They have Martellus Bennett now, along with Gronkowski. And they are my AFC pick.
You know, Chris, I think it was very strong of you to pick that, because I actually was thinking, along with the Patriots, that the team that I thought would challenge them would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, with the core of Matavius Bryant, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, though he does have a suspension, I think that he, with Big Ben leading the core, could take them very, very, very far this year.
Martavius Bryant is suspended for the entire season, though.
That is true.
He may be able to come back for the playoffs, but I don't think there may not be a chance for that. And Le'Veon Bell is out for the first 4 games. And if Antonio Brown also gets an injury, or if Ben Roethlisberger gets an injury like they did last year, this could be a big problem for a team that has struggled to make the playoffs. So it's a smart dark horse candidate. That's definitely somebody that
he's not really on the radar for most guys, but I think they do have a very good chance of making it to the playoffs and possibly even winning the Super Bowl if they can really develop chemistry in their defense.
Well, that'll be all. For Noah Wheeler and Ben Davidoff, I'm Chris Pollock.
All right, I'm Alex Roth. This is Sam Governor, and this is Will Wiggleman. This is Sports Center. And with the latest NFL news, here's Sam Governor.
Antonio Brown punches opposing cornerback on the Lions and gets kicked out of practice. Lions player Reggie Ragland previously said that we will not let the Steelers bully us anymore, quote, quote. And tempers flared.
With other news on Joey Bosa and the Chargers, here's Will Wiggleman.
Joey Bosa has been holding out because he wants all guaranteed money and his rookie contract. His mother also said that they should have pulled an Eli Manning and demanded to be traded.
All right, we're now going to give our Super Bowl picks for this season. What's your Super Bowl pick, Sam?
They are to me it's pretty easy, Seahawks and Patriots. Even though Tom Brady is suspended, the Patriots have that winning pedigree. I think Jimmy Garoppolo can carry the team for 4 weeks. Then Tom Brady will lead the charge and bring them to the Super Bowl. Seattle Seahawks also very hungry after losing last year. They really want to make it to the Super Bowl. I think they will. I think Russell Wilson will give them a second title.
I think that the Patriots are going to start 0-4, and they will not be able to recover to get to the Super Bowl. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers going to the Super Bowl. When they get Le'Veon Bell back, they will be a powerhouse offense. Their defense is good enough to keep opponents from scoring too many points, and their offense can do a lot. And D'Angelo Williams in those first 4 games, he can still do it, and they will be in the Super Bowl. From the NFC, I don't see the Panthers going back. I see the Arizona Cardinals going in there. I think that Carson Palmer is going to lead them again, and I think this time he will finally get to his goal and get to the Super Bowl. And I think this will be a good year for the Cardinals.
All right, I think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl this year behind an MVP year from Aaron Rodgers, skinnier Eddie Lacy, and getting the addition of Jordy Nelson, or the welcoming back of Jordy Nelson. This is a team that made it to the divisional round and almost won in Arizona last year without Jordy Nelson, who was obviously a huge loss. Randall Cobb wasn't even playing for most of that game. And I think they're going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl, who have Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown. Best triplet in football. All right, that's going to wrap up SportsCenter today. This is our NFL preview show, part of the show. Thanks for watching.
3.
Welcome to Beaver News. I'm your host, Carson Binder. These are my colleagues, Alex Weisfitz and Jared Merrill. We have news coming out of the Pittsburgh Steelers camp. Ladarius Green, a free agent with the team that signed after the season, has not practiced this spring or summer as of yet, as reasoning for recurring headaches. Last season, Ladarius Green had 2 concussions in 11 days. Jared, what's your news?
Breaking news is told by the team of Tim Tebow that he wants to pursue baseball. He's hit 494 for his high school team and earned his first team All-State honors in Florida as a high school junior. Alex, what do you guys say?
Well, about Ryan Fitzpatrick signing his new deal with the New York Jets, everybody knew he was going to sign with them. He had that, and nobody else was looking for him, and the Jets had a good season with him, going 10-6, yet missing the playoffs as a loss to the Buffalo Bills in Week 17. So I like Ryan Fitzpatrick's addition, even though it is $9 more million than last year's contract, but I like the signing.
Real quickly, Jared, do you think Tim Tebow can make it to the major leagues?
It would be really exciting for him to see him play. I think he can do really good in MLB. Hopefully his swing kind of cuts down a little bit because he's sending videos about his swing, but hopefully he can shorten it up so he can hit some off-speed pitches and do really good in MLB.
Interesting point. So now we have our Super Bowl predictions. Jared, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year?
I think if everyone stays healthy, I think the Seahawks will be a great pick for the Super Bowl. I think they have the speed on defense. I think they have the pretty good offense. I think they can do it.
What about you, Alex?
Going from the NFC, getting to the Super Bowl, I got to say the Minnesota Vikings. I know it's a bad pick, but I like the Minnesota Vikings this year with Teddy Bridgewater, a young quarterback, Stephon Diggs as a young receiver with Mike Wallace as wideouts. And if their defense doesn't give up a lot of points, I believe the Minnesota Vikings will do great. And from the AFC, I know it's hard to say, but I got to go with the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick always knows how to put up a great team. Past few years, made it to the Super Bowl about 3 times, and Even though Garoppolo's playing the first 4 weeks, I think he can go 2-2, and Brady will finish it out and win it against
Very
the
interesting point because the Minnesota Vikings are not experienced. And to your point, the Seattle Seahawks lost Marshawn Lynch. My pick is the Carolina Panthers. I think they're the best team in the NFL. I think they have the best quarterback in the NFL, and I think they're the most lethal team in the entire football league. Okay, that's our show on NFL Network. I'm your host, Carson Binder. My colleagues Jared Merrill and Alex Weitzwitz. Good night.
I'm John Day, and this is NFL Preview. I'm here with Brittany Gelman and Harrison Rosenthal. Let's get to it.
Well, first, we have to talk about the Browns and RG3. Hugh Jackson said that RG3 was flawless in his approach to the Browns quarterback position. However, he was ranked number 32 of 33 of all the starting quarterbacks in the league.
Well, Rams starting quarterback position, now it looks like it's going to go to Case Keenum. As Jeff Fisher said yesterday, Keenum will be starting the first preseason game on Saturday against the Dallas Cowboys.
Breaking news from Philadelphia, the best punt returner, Darren Sproles, will not be returning punts this preseason. Yeah.
So on to our Super Bowl predictions. Harrison, what do you think?
Oh, I think for the Super Bowl, I'm going to go off the charts here. I'm going the Arizona Cardinals versus the Oakland Raiders, and I have the Cardinals winning the Super Bowl.
I have the Raiders winning the Super Bowl. I don't know who they're facing, but I'm just predicting that the Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl.
I have the Patriots because, as of now, the Broncos, they're not making the Super Bowl. And I just don't see the Colts coming up either, or the Seahawks. I just feel like it's gonna be a Patriot Super Bowl again.
Well, those are our news, and those were our Super Bowl picks. Thanks for tuning in to NFL Preview. Good night.
Hi, this is the NFL Sports Preview Show. I'm Chandler Dugard here with Alex Legmaro and Brittany Cairns. Here's Alex with our first story.
Today we'll be talking about the Denver Broncos quarterback situation. Now here's the deal. Gary Kubiak has his first preseason game against the Chicago Bears today with the Denver Broncos. However, he has no idea who he's putting in for quarterback. We have Mark Sanchez, Paxton Lynch, and Trevor Seaman. All pretty solid quarterbacks for the Denver Broncos, but not nearly as good as Peyton Manning in the past couple of years. They don't know who's starting September 8th. They definitely don't know who's starting tonight. We don't really know what's going to be the deal for this Denver Broncos quarterback situation.
Okay, Brittany, any news?
Well, headed to the AFC South, Titans safety Rashard Johnson, he's saying that the Tennessee Titans do actually have a decent shot of winning the division. Except this comes as news as they have had the worst record in all of the NFL 2 years in a row. Granted that the division is open, you could say, as the Titans have problems, Jacksonville has problems, and so do Indianapolis. It comes as news coming from Tennessee.
And today, wide receiver Antonio Brown from the Steelers was ejected from practice after getting upset over a referee ruling his catch incomplete. The referee, Terry Brown, plans on reporting Brown's actions to the NFL corporate office. Now on to Super Bowl predictions. Brittany?
Well, I think it's the Patriots. Here's why. Tom Brady hasn't been slowing down. Granted, he's getting older, but his production has stayed the same. And the Patriots still have a top 10 defense, as they've only allowed 19.7 points a game last year.
Alex?
You know, I personally think it's going to be an NFC team this year. I think the Carolina Panthers have enough momentum that brought from their loss last Super Bowl. I think they're going to use that to win this next one. I think they have great receivers, Kelvin Benjamin. They have a great tight end. They have a great tight end. Cam Newton, great production as always. Luke Kuechly, middle linebacker. They're all great offense and defense. I think they're going to make it all the way.
I definitely agree with you. I think the Panthers are going to take it all the way. I think they'll learn from their experience, and they will definitely win. Thank you for watching with us today. I'm Chandler Dugard here with Alex Legamara and Brittany Cairns.
Hello, I am Jesse Rosiak here with Caleb Strange and Joshua Feinhirsch. We are here for the NFL preview. Have you heard any stories about the NFL so far?
Yes, I actually have. I heard about Jimmy Graham, who tore his patellar tendon in Week 10 of last season. He actually returned to practice yesterday, and he can't do anything yet full speed, but he is getting better and more acquainted with Russell Wilson in his second season on the Seahawks after being on the New Orleans Saints.
What about you, Caleb?
Me, in breaking news, Stevie Johnson is out for the season after undergoing surgery on his torn meniscus. This is definitely going to hurt the Chargers' offensive line. I do not think the Chargers are going to be good this year with Stevie Johnson out.
I heard that the Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown almost got kicked out of the training camp for unsportsmanlike contact with the official. He was yelling at the official because he thought that the pass of a touchdown was complete, whereas the official thought it was not. Who are your NFL predictions for the Super Bowl this year?
Super Bowl, I think it's going to be, I gotta go with Bengals versus Cardinals really this year. I think the Cardinals can get over the Panthers in the conference championship for the NFC, unlike last year. And I think the Bengals will beat the Patriots just because Jimmy Garoppolo has pressure in the first 4 games. I gotta go with the Arizona Cardinals being Super Bowl champions for the first time ever since Kurt Warner.
Who do you think will win?
I personally think the AFC and NFC championships are going to look like this. It's going to be the Patriots and the Broncos. The Patriots are going to beat the Broncos badly. Patriots are going to advance. And then it's going to be the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Cardinals are going to whoop them. And then it's going to be the Patriots versus the Cardinals. And I do think I'm going to see the Cardinals coming up on
I think the Patriots will do well, but the Broncos don't have Peyton Manning anymore, so I don't think they'll get too far. But I think the Packers will be the champions because Jordy Nelson came back from his injury, and also Aaron Rodgers is still going strong. That's it for today. Here with Caleb Strange and Josh Feinhirsch, I'm Jessie Rosiak. Good night.